The year is 1947. America has just won a war in the name of freedom. But here at home, freedom was still a dream deferred. The South still clung to Jim Crow. Segregation divided the land, and the promise of equality was still just that, a promise. But the people had a voice, and one of those voices was Langston Hughes. His words, his poetry, they were more than ink on a page. They were a call to action, a challenge to America to be what it claimed to be, a land of freedom for all. Tonight, I bring you his words, a poem that still echoes through time. It's a poem that asks a question we still wrestle with today. The Freedom Train by Langston Hughes. I read in the papers about the Freedom Train. I heard on the radio about the Freedom Train. I seen folks talking about the Freedom Train. Lord, I've been waiting for the Freedom Train. Down south in Dixie, the only train I see's got a Jim Crow car set aside for me. I hope there ain't no Jim Crow on the Freedom Train. No backdoor entrance to the Freedom Train. No signs for color on the Freedom Train. No, white folks only on the Freedom Train. I'm going to check up on this Freedom Train. Who's the engineer on the Freedom Train? Can a cold black man drive the Freedom Train? Or am I still a porter on the Freedom Train? Is there ballot boxes on the Freedom Train? When it stops in Mississippi, will it be made plain? Everybody's got a right to board the Freedom Train? Somebody tell me about this Freedom Train. The Birmingham station's marked colored and white. The white folks go left, and the colored, they go right. They even got a segregated lane. Is that the way to get aboard the Freedom Train? I got to know about this Freedom Train. If my children ask me, Daddy, please explain why there's Jim Crow stations for the Freedom Train, what shall I tell my children? You tell me, 'cause freedom ain't freedom when a man ain't free. But maybe, just maybe they explains it on the Freedom Train. When my grandmother in Atlanta, 83 and black, gets in line to see the Freedom Train, will some white man yell, "Get back! A Negro's got no business on the Freedom Track"? Mister, I thought it were the Freedom Train. Her grandson's name was Jimmy. He died at Anzio. He died for real, and it weren't no show. The freedom that they're carrying on this Freedom Train, is it for real or just another show again? Jimmy wants to know about the Freedom Train. Will his freedom come zooming down the track, gleaming in the sunlight for the white and the black, not stopping at no stations marked colored nor white, just stopping in the fields in the broad daylight, stopping in the country in the wide open air where there never was no Jim Crow signs, nowhere. Then maybe from their graves in Anzio, the GIs who fought will say, "We wanted it so." Black men and white men will say, "Brother, ain't it fine? At home they got a train that's yours and mine." Then I'll shout, "Glory for the Freedom Train." I'll holler, "Blow your whistle, Freedom Train. Thank God Almighty, here's our Freedom Train. Get on board our Freedom Train Langston Hughes wrote those words in 1947, but his questions still demand answers today. Some stories fade with time, but only if we let them. What does freedom really mean? And more importantly, who gets to board that train? The past speaks, but it takes us to keep it alive. Share this, speak on it, pass it forward so that these voices, this legacy, is never forgotten. Please subscribe for more, and we'll see you soon.